Warning, this podcast discusses conspiracy theories and critiques the pharmaceutical industry. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research and consult professionals before making health decisions. We also invest in cryptocurrency, which you have to be an absolute fucking retard to buy in. Make sure you're consulting a financial expert for more information on this.
Ooh, wee.
In the cosmic dance, we feel the vibe. Energy flows, it's a universal tribe. Spirits igniting like stars in the night.
Can you
Cosmic and Cosmo,
fuck
we're
a ghost?
catching the light. Let's dive deeper into the unknown. It's different. Feel the groove of the show. Unraveling secrets. Come and let it flow. Vibration.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, wee. Welcome to the Tuesday. Welcome to It Gets Different. Welcome to It's Different. Let's get thirsty on the thirst trap. The thirst trap, the history and the impact of the sex work industry. We're going to learn some things tonight, boys. We're going to get excited. We're going to have some fun. We're going to bring it back because I wasn't here last week and I'm fired up to be here. Super excited. Let's get everybody out here. Let's get the gang out. You know what I'm talking about? We got Brad and we got Cosmo and we got Cashman, and they're awesome and they're all different and they got different levels of the energies and the bringing it and the things they want to talk about and the things they're feeling. And you would think I do drugs, but I don't. You know, this is just me.
You
This
are
is
a
me
drug.
doing things that I love to do.
With all that energy, I love it.
What's up? How you living, Brad?
I mean, normally, every week we're always talking like in the DMs. What are we going to talk about this week? And Cashman's like, if it has to do with hookers and coke, I'm down. So I figured, tonight that's what we're going to talk about.
This is
Not so much
Cashman's
the coke,
episode.
but we're definitely going to talk about the hookers to finally get this motherfucker fully invested and interested.
Listen,
I'm
Get
pumped.
him,
you
get him
can't.
talking.
No, listen,
Say something,
listen,
Cash. Just
listen,
say something,
motherfuckers.
boy.
Listen, you can't have hookers without cocaine. I'm just saying. So at some point, cocaine's going to get talked about in this episode because hookers and cocaine go together like fucking peanut butter and jelly. I'm just saying.
It's a finer taste, really.
I mean, I only like the finest things in life.
Hookers and coke.
Colombian salsa
Attaboy.
and fucking, a nice hooker.
Colombian salsa? Is that the same as that Christina Aguilera? I know about that white girl, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, that white girl, but we like to sound
I'm bougie and
spicy.
Cashman.
Yeah.
Colombian salsa.
Colombian salsa.
Pretty
So,
bougie for sure. Colombian salsa.
so fancy. What is this? No, do not restart computer. Oh my goodness. I swear the things that we have to deal with in life.
That technology.
I think I got it fixed. Cosmo, how are you living tonight, sir? He's below me. You know what I'm talking about?
Bro, I'm good. I'm tired. I've been burning the wick at both ends, but I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about this subject. Happy to see Cashman get stoked on some hooker gossip. See if we can get him pumped up. But yeah, it was interesting. I wish I had more time. Like, we need to pick our topics earlier on so we have more time to research, because I only had about 2 hours, which is good with GPT, but having more time, I think I would be more prepared. I think we'll be good, though. There's plenty to talk about. If anything, Cash can just tell us stories, man. I would love to hear some stories.
I got some firsthand experience myself here. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I've been deep in the trenches back in the day. This was like 2008, 2009, back in the prime, where you could go to a hotel and you could just pay them cash. They did not need your ID. They did not take your name except for whatever name you gave them. And I used to say, I'm Ben Johnson. And then later on, the Detroit Lions, like the offensive coordinator, his name's Ben Johnson. And I just feel bad for any time that he went to a hotel room and they're like, no, you can't come in here. You absolutely destroyed it. What the fuck? Get out. And they called it, like, that's my bad, dog. That was my alias, 2008, 2009. Ben Johnson would pay for that hotel in cash, and I would just fuck it up. Beer pong, hookers, coke. But I was in the Army. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want from me?
Right. Well, that's pretty normal, like for the Army, yeah? Is
Yeah.
that pretty prominent? Yeah.
That
Yeah.
seemed like the standard.
Right. What's the stigma with that in terms of your commanding officers? Do they just kind of look the other way and shit, or are they in it, or?
Well, it depends. Are you good at PT? Are you good at your job? Are you a shitbag in general? Because like
That's
I was good
right.
at PT. Like
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
I maxed the physical fitness test early on. Later on, I became a piece of shit. Not gonna lie to you guys, but early I could run. I could do the push-ups. Could do the sit-ups. Way too easy. I was 17, but like they just made sure that like I got a firm talking to. I got exercise the shit out of. They're always like, hey, do push-ups, and I'm like, yeah, because like I'm fucked up on coke, so like whatever, that's cool. But
That's cool.
I figured it out. I can definitively say you don't want to drink, do ecstasy, and then show up for PT the next morning. You're going to go on a run. You're going to feel like you're having a heart attack. Everybody's going to look at you. They're going to be like, he, and you're going to be that guy. And you don't want to be that guy. So do it on the weekends. Do it in small doses. Don't become a full addict like I did. That's the lesson there.
You got to learn your limits.
Heard.
Yeah, I
don't
did that
know
once.
my
Worst
limit.
come down in my life.
Never done it.
I didn't do it again just because of the come down.
Really? Well, why was it like a bad experience, or what? Do you want to elaborate at all, or not?
Me?
Yeah.
It was just the worst the next day. It was the worst come down off of a drug.
Which one are we talking about here?
X.
Oh, Deborah.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of different drugs, dude. And
which
dealt with
ones?
come downs in different ways.
Which ones? Because I like those blue dolphins. Those were always top quality. Now there was there's random stuff like the starfish and the bicycles, all these different prints. But I trusted the blue dolphins. Those were primo, double stacks.
Remember back in the day, you used to be able to trust the drugs you got. Like nowadays, you got to worry about going to the fucking. Well, I mean, personally, I don't do drugs anymore, but I'm just saying, like. Nowadays, I hear people go to the drug dealer and they get a bag of Fetty when they was just looking to speed up instead of go down, and they went down, but they went didn't come back down.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, I couldn't do drugs.
Yeah, 2008, 2010, it was safe. I mean, it wasn't.
When I was in full blown addiction, I never once worried about getting a bag of Fetty because my shit was always what I asked for. But nowadays, it's like. These motherfuckers go and they ask for a bag of coke and they get a bag of fentanyl and fucking end up dead because they did a fucking gagger thinking it was blow, and that shit wasn't blow, dog.
Yeah, why? Why is that happening? Do you guys know why? Why are they starting to mix so much?
Profit.
Cheap to obtain this.
But if you don't know what's in there, then
they don't care.
Paying for it.
They don't care.
You think the dope boy give a fuck if he kills the fucking junkie down the street?
Yeah.
He don't give
I
a
don't
shit.
know, man. I've never been in this world.
Hey, he don't give a
guy
fuck, dog.
above the guy, above the guy, above the guy.
Lost fucking Freddie that spent 20 every day. That's okay because Bobby spends 40 every day. It'd be okay.
This is real life.
Hey, I'm dead ass. That's how it is.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't never walked into the trap house and seen a dead body laying on the floor? I've been there, done that.
Trap house.
You just sleep.
No, he wasn't asleep, dog. No.
He just
Maybe
sleep.
I thought he was asleep at first, but then I seen the flies fucking crawling on his head and the smell. No, I'm good. I'm out.
Oh man, those are good times.
No, not really. But hey, you live and you learn.
Right? Thankfully, we lived. We all lived.
We made it out.
Yes, we did.
Brad. Barely, Brad.
Y'all don't
Brad,
know.
Brad know what I'm talking about, though.
I spent a week in a rehab clinic, dog.
I did the 8-hour drug education class, the
man.
AA meetings, the NA meetings.
Shit smell like a sewer. Dead ass.
Must be living hard. You
I had
boys be living hard.
my supplier, when I was selling a little bit, did the whole, when I met him, like flex in the dope house and take his gun out and hit my hand when I had the cash and try to intimidate me or see if I was gonna be a little bitch, right? Because you got to be. He didn't want me to be scared, but he didn't want me to be mean, you know. And yeah, it's stupid, dude. God, it's so funny.
My dope boy used to answer the fucking door with
I
his
love it.
pistol every fucking time. I'd be like, motherfucker, I literally told you I was gonna be there in like 3 minutes. You knew it was me knocking on the door. Motherfucker every time had a 9 in his hand. Every time.
Just
I don't miss that life. Fuck that shit.
It was a different, you know. Now I'm a suburban princess dad, you know, and I love it. It's very different. But those experiences, though, they mattered. Like for real, though, those experiences mattered. They helped turn me into something better than what I was before then.
Well, when baby girl gets older and she starts thinking about that stuff, you can have firsthand experience to be like, or try this maybe, but be ready for this outcome, you know? Like
There's
that real experience.
that. And people always go to that, but there's also like the things you learn about who you are and what you're capable of and what matters and priorities and in present moment stuff that comes from doing those things. That comes from that time I almost died. That comes from that time my supplier hit me with a gun trying to scare me. That comes from the time we had stuff that was a little funky, you know, like I wouldn't recommend anyone seek those moments out, but if you had them, they do teach you a lot of things other than just, oh yeah, I know what that's about. I could tell my kid what it's really about. Like, I think it goes way beyond that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I didn't mean to make it so light, but
no, but you're right too. But that's just the thing that, like, God, I'm gonna sound like a douche, but like someone who wasn't there, you weren't there, man. That's like the go-to saying, right? Is like, oh, you can tell your kids you did it and you know what's safe and not. And like, I don't fucking know anymore. You know, you weren't getting killed with fentanyl and weed back then.
Yeah.
Dang, I ain't gonna lie.
Grow your own.
We didn't come here tonight to talk about. Hey, right. We didn't come here tonight to talk about our dang drug past and how we thought we were badasses. We were probably all bitches. Came here tonight. Throw down some history. Now look here now. Look here now. Y'all gonna look at this. I found this. It's very short. Jim Morrison, if you're not familiar, from The Doors, was a really talented poet. And he wrote a poem, very short, about a hooker. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to set the tone a little bit here, okay?
I like it.
You know, I'm going to do it with a cigarette in my mouth. Because that's how I used to live. And it says here now, poet of the call girl storm. She left a note on the bedroom door. If I'm out, bring me two. I probably read that 20 times the first time I read it. Because the more you think about the reality of that, the more it slaps, the more it hits.
Play that back for me one time.
Yeah. I was gonna say one more time. It's so short, you gotta catch all of it. You know, it's like a haiku.
Poet of the call girl storm. She left a note on the bedroom door. If I'm out, bring me two.
If right, so you bring me two. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
If it okay, so let's take the writer as Jim. You know, whoever the writer is, they go to the hotel room to meet the hooker, and there's a note on the door, literally a note on the door that says, "If I'm out, bring me two." Like if I'm passed out from the drugs, from the whatever I've been through, from the exhaustion, go ahead and wake me up. Let's do this thing and give me my money. If I'm out, bring me two. The call girl storm.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's pretty profound because it really harkens to kind of the psyche of the hooker, prostitute, right? Like what they go through. And reminds me of the movie Monster. Did you guys ever see that with Charlize Theron? She just looks like crazy haggard, but it's about her life and she's a prostitute and all this horrible stuff that she goes through. And it's brutal, but it's really eye-opening too, you know? Which is interesting because if we talk about the history of prostitution, it started out as a very sacred practice to where they would have priestesses and temples that would have strangers essentially come and they would be the masters of sex. They would be there to essentially awaken consciousness in these individuals. And so it was
Which
like a public
time
service.
frame you referring to here? Like
This is like Mesopotamia, 6000 BC, all the way up really until
The first Stargaze.
Greece,
cool.
Rome, even a little bit there.
Yeah,
I was just making sure I'm on the
Greece.
right path with you.
No, yeah, you got it, dude. Greece and Rome, that's about the time where sexuality was separated from spirit and divinity, and
Sure.
it became a commodity. They commoditized it. They started taxing it. They started to cheapen it, right? And a lot of the prostitutes were slaves. There was two
Epstein circle
different.
it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Or
Well,
the
there
elite.
was two. There was two different kinds of prostitutes too. There was the porni, which is funny, porn, right? They were like the cheap, common prostitutes, and then there was the heresy or something like that, which are more like geisha. They're like the high end escort.
That's a businesswoman.
That's right.
It's an escort.
They were consort or
She about that money, boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what came first, the pimp or the prostitute? Was a girl like, I can make money off of this. Oh, this guy was dangerous. Let me go get this more dangerous guy to protect me. I'll give him some money. Or was there a guy that was like, I can make some money off of this. You're going to do this and give me some money. And then maybe a dangerous guy will show up and you'll need me.
I'll see if maybe Cosmo has a different research take. But from what I was looking at, it seems like different cultures have their own different like preface for this. Because like in the Asian culture of like China, I mean, we don't have much, as white people over here have documented for thousands of years ago for their culture. But some of their earlier stuff when it comes to the, adult workers, they were typically run under one house, almost like a church. Or, like we have our brothels here, but they have like a head whore. That's not the appropriate word.
The madam.
Yeah. They had the head madam who would.
Madame, sorry.
She was in the industry for a while.
Bro.
She usually had, it handed over from her, but she worked in close with the elites, basically, for expanding territory, expanding ground. Now, when it comes to like the medieval England side of things, I think that's maybe where we start to see organized, developed hierarchy, patriarchy involvement in this.
Yep. That's when the patriarchy hits.
And that's when it spreads to America.
Well, that's when women become disempowered. That's when sexuality becomes suppressed and it becomes shameful. It's all within kind of that Christian rule of that time.
I was going to say, that's what I was digging up. It's all Christians who are like, no,
boy.
We're going to have sex with little kids. Sorry, that was...
Yeah. Well, think of the outcome of that. If you're not allowed to have sex and you're around all these little choir boys all the time, that shit's gonna happen, man. You can't just suppress your sexuality, Huh?
Hey, what were you doing in the 1400s? I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it was different back then.
Different, for sure. Oh, my man.
There's no way to explain that. In like the conversations of like, oh, it was just a different time back then, 2,000 years ago. It was normal. What the fuck are you talking about? No, that's not normal to have sex with a kid. I don't care what fucking generation we're talking about. You should have like some sort of sensible understanding. Like, I'm doing something wrong, no matter what fucking generation, what culture you're born into. I don't understand how like this happens. Ain't gonna lie. That's weird shit.
I mean, it's a lot of it is very dark and like ritualistic, but it's been around forever, man. I know you said it's like it shouldn't have been around like that time frame, but it's been going on forever. There's all kinds of reliefs and sculptures and paintings of like groups of men like mutilating children, like drinking their blood, all kinds of stuff, dude. It's really, really dark. That's the stuff above all of what we're talking about, like the cabal, the elites, whoever's pulling the strings, right?
I thought that was going to be more of an hour 2 thing, but I mean, we kind of got there. But like, no, like there's things that sounded batshit crazy. And then years of my own research, which I'm sure some of y'all went down this rabbit hole too, things like adrenochrome and all doesn't sound that crazy. Because to me, like what Cosmo said earlier, like sexuality suppressed and you're around these choir boys, I don't see a natural path where that becomes the shift. I don't. That maybe that's just me, right? Everyone's wired differently.
Sure.
But if there is something else, if there is an elixir of life type aspect, if there is a ritualistic aspect that had actual effects, if there is a drug aspect that has like legitimate effects, right? Zuckerberg had that post that they saw way back, 2013, 2012.
Yeah.
He said it was the greatest drug he ever took. And like Cosmo said, there are paintings, old paintings that depict this stuff
Really old,
vividly.
yeah.
You can't confuse what's happening here.
No.
And it really makes me wonder, like, is that what got behind all the sex trafficking aspect and the child aspect? Is there like a real, is that like a real thing? Like that would be a reason, where I could see some legitimacy.
So I don't know if this has anything to do exactly with what we're talking about, but I can say from experience, I've gone to a massage parlor where they were Asian, and I have hands down got the best hand job from one of those massage parlors, and that probably was the best drug I've ever had. So if that's what he's talking about, I'm with it. And just
You got it, Brad. That's exactly what he was talking about.
They know all the release spots. They know how to get it. And that's not an endorsement. That's just,
an experience. Yeah.
Well, I think it's an initiation. That's what my research has shown me, and reading between the lines, because a lot of that stuff is not going to be in plain sight. All of this really, really dark and hidden stuff is not going to be in the light. You got to look for it. But that's what I think is going on, especially with the kids stuff. It's an initiation to where once you cross that line, you're broken and you're under their control. Because there's no coming back from that. If you think about that act or doing anything to something as innocent as a child, that changes you forever. That's like Lord Voldemort shit where your soul shatters,
Well, there's a thing though. There's a psychological thing about barriers and about once you cross certain lines, it's taboo until you've done it. I always give the example. I had a partner back when we were in like the college days, and he came back from New Orleans. He was like, bro, you ever jacked off in the car? And I looked at him, he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, man, it was nighttime. I was driving up there and I just, hit that long stretch in Gramercy. There's nobody. And dude, it was awesome. It was really exciting. It felt great. Like it was dangerous. I'm not supposed to be doing it. I'm going 80 miles an hour. And I was like, you're fucking insane, right? But then if you do it,
62 or
then
something.
you tried it.
I don't know about doing 80 and jacking off. Like, damn, bro.
if you cross
do it in
that
the neighborhood,
line,
bro.
Shit.
it's not insane once you've crossed the line. And this goes for any social norm that you're constricted to.
You can justify anything.
Once you push past that barrier, it's no longer there. And anything inside of that barrier is now normalized. Right. So ritualistic, maybe like I got something on you, but also in the aspect of you are now open to doing so much more stuff.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. It's like a gateway drug in a sense, but a gateway initiation.
Jesus Christ.
Man.
I want to say, as a safety concern, you should be wearing your seatbelt and doing the speed limit while jacking off and driving.
It's going to reduce the mobility there, boy.
Mobility.
That cruise control. Keep your eyes
You
up.
gotta move that steering wheel so you got more room. Like,
You definitely want to move that up.
turn on that seat warmer, get the air conditioning all right, maybe crack the windows a bit.
Get the wind on there, but not too much. Not too much.
No.
Look,
You don't
next
want that
time
cold
you
air.
get in your partner's car and he's got a couple socks on the floor,
Oh, God, dude.
you know what they're there for.
Yeah, because we ain't using those McDonald's fucking napkins. Those are way too rough. Let's calm down with that. Like, yeah, roll the wind. Yeah, get that stank out. Let it breathe a
Get
little
that
bit.
heat.
Mm.
Get that fresh air.
Barriers, though, social norms. It's a serious thing that once you break them, you break them.
I've done a couple of road trips when I was in the Army, like going from Florida to Colorado, and what are you gonna do? Just drive the whole fucking time? Like, that's insane. Just do like some.
You're gonna be a normal person.
Coffee, you only do it a few times, and like, how many Red Bulls are you gonna just sit there and chug? Like, shot.
Up and down, up down.
And like after like the fourth one, you're like, I gotta do fucking something. And so like, duh.
Duh.
Yeah. No, but
18 years
you're
old driving cross country, act like I'm not gonna beat off every 12 hours. Chill, bro. Chill.
You got alarm set.
schedule to keep. No, you're right though, Cosmic. I think they found patterns with serial killers and people that are just like brutal in terms of their crimes, and there's signs like really early on where they're like mutilating animals, they're killing things without remorse, so it's like a snowball effect. And I think it's the same as drugs or anything, where you get a hit and then you want more. It's not enough, so you keep getting more and more extreme. And I'm sure it's the same thing with the kid stuff, and so God knows what's after that. I can't imagine what's after that, dude.
What up, Tokes?
Ooh.
Tokes.
I got a question. I know you and Brad both have like presentations ready, but I do have a question.
We good.
Do y'all separate kind of what we've been talking about from prostitution? Like, I guess prostitution has its own line of consensual and non-consensual prostitutes, but like the ring of prostitution in general, and then the professional sex worker industry. Are all these under one overarching thing for y'all? For me, they're very compartmentalized and
really
cleanly separated. But for y'all, is this like the same thing?
Well, you go, Brad, and then I'll go. I've got.
They're under the same umbrella. But that's the same.
Are we trying to differentiate the OnlyFans hoes versus the hookers on the street walking at night?
What was the term?
Differentiating the Diddy stuff, dude? Yeah.
What was the terms that you said? What was it, Cosmo? What was like the porn night and the other one?
Yeah, it's porn night and let me see what the other one is.
Because like
it's Hetairai.
Yeah.
Hetairai.
And Pornhub content creators, porn night.
Porn night. Common prostitutes. That's like, yeah.
Right. You have your street hooker. They're also in the same category because they're doing same, really just kind of begging for like fucking $60 to suck you off.
Most of them were slaves.
On that's went up, but lot lizards, all the above, they are porn nights. And then you have your upper echelon elite society. $600 for a fucking 30 minutes type shit. Like,
no, it's more like entertainment too, bro.
Right. And then there's the dancers. The dancers, they're like on the outer side of the umbrella, like, because you're just I'm willing to do that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, that ain't too far. I'll send a booty hole pic for a fucking $100, dog. I don't care.
Oh boy!
You hit my DMs now. I'll get you one in like 2 hours. Fucking bet. Like, and if you want to up the ante, like, maybe I'll start a list with fucking pricing and all that stuff. But like, you got to know your terms, you got to know your limits. But there's a professional level to it, and I think that I'm not there. Not yet, bro. But I am over on the side of like the entertainment only, no insertion type stuff. Now that's a totally different category.
Okay.
Right. That's where I'm at with it so far.
Okay. We all have different lines. I think it's fascinating.
Right.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think it's all the same, because if you think about like the lifespan of a human back in ancient times, you're living till like 30, right? So if you're a prostitute, you're probably going to be a child, honestly. Like, you're very, very young, and you're probably not going to live too long. So I think it's a continuation of that, to where now it's just more taboo because we're living longer, and supposedly, I guess, we're becoming sexually active later in life. So, but there is that notion that you brought up too, where once you cross a line, you need more, and it gets more and more intense. And the research I've done is like sexual immorality and all this decadence, like this moral decay, was really kind of compartmentalized to different regions and different places. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, the fall of Rome, Greece. The Weimar Revolution right before World War II in Germany, all these really bad stuff were all kind of self-contained. Whereas now, because of the internet, because of OnlyFans and Pornhub, it's a global thing. It's instantly accessible by everybody. And so it's a very different conversation now than it used to be in the past, because no longer are we separated by space and geography and boundaries like that. We're all connected via this internet. And so that, I don't know, that aspect I think is really interesting, but also really concerning too, because it's like, where does this go? Because all the research I've done is civilizations, when they're in this state, pretty soon after there is a collapse, there is a war, there is something that causes a reset, because you can't keep going this hedonistic trajectory forever, right? It has to come back. It has to balance itself, which I think we're also seeing that too. I think there's a lot of like sacred sexuality and like talking with the concrete shamans, doing semen retention, stuff like that, sacred masculinity. A lot of that I think is coming back, because like personally, I'm sick of all of that shit, man. Like I'm sick of the porn industry, all of that. I think it's degrading, and I don't think it's good for our consciousness, you know?
I don't know about y'all, but I ain't doing no semen retention.
That's fine, guys. You good, man. You good, pass.
I personally have went to like trying to do staggering, 24, 48 hour intervals. And
No.
Is that rough? No.
It's been tough for me. I just
What
hope the
happens?
cast
Like,
man is
why-
committed to the left and right hand.
Hey,
Balance out.
I can almost switch hit, dog.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, I put some weeks in between here and there.
Yeah. Do you feel like a difference? Like, how you feel when you put those weeks in? Is
I
it
put it
more
like-
just because
so-
you forget
so
about it?
If I'm in a space where that's something that happens like on a daily for a while, you hit a point where you don't want to do it anymore. I hit a point where I'm like, ugh, I don't want to look at this stuff. Nothing's exciting me. And you kind of lose the drive, as weird as that sounds, right? And then like you kind of space some stuff out for a while and it gets exciting again. It's fresh again. You're not spending long times looking for like the right 2 or 3 videos, right? Just like the first couple things you see that you're kind of into, like your type, you're just like, bam, 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 I'm good. So, like, yeah, for me, I mean, go a week, 2 weeks, sometimes 3. I wouldn't say I do that often, but like definitely some 5 to 12 days. I've gone in the mid 20s, upper 20s. I've never felt that like, energy boost. You're supposed to get like a testosterone boost on like 7 days, and they do it before MMA fights and all of this stuff. I've never physically noticed anything, right?
Listen,
but mentally, yeah.
The best I got for you is I quit smoking cigarettes like a week ago. I'm going to keep beating off. I'm just going to do it left-handed.
Right now, yeah.
That's a change right there.
Cigarettes are tough.
Props. Yeah.
Hey, so last night, I ain't gonna lie to you, you just hit the nail on the head. I was probably about 6, 7 videos into my scroll.
It happens.
I need you to keep a straight face down there. God
You
damn
was
it.
on page 2, wasn't you?
Yeah. So like, and I've done a couple of intervals of like, oh, this one ain't good enough. This one ain't good enough. And like, I finally found one that was
Good
like,
enough.
okay. And they're speaking Spanish, right? And that was the one.
That's what did it for you, right, boy?
I said,
Oh, man.
I can't do this. I have to find another one. So like, I'm back in my scroll, right? And I'm like, like
I'm
10
down
minutes
with
later,
you.
there I am. Like, you know what? Am I that fucking uptight about what they're? I don't even care. Like, this was the one, and like I'm over here still. So I had to back. Fuck it. We're just gonna deal.
You just mute that shit, right?
No,
I mean,
I just try to get down with it,
my whole thing's always been like consensual, and
True story.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, even with that, like, if I see a video and it looks like it's something that like is like one of them porn farms where they got like 30 girls in the same room, like in cubicles, like I'm instantly out. I'm like, nope, I'm not.
Yeah.
Can't do it. A, I'm not in, and B, like I don't want to support that. I'm out. But
I
that's why
almost
I never had a
swear to
problem.
God, I almost
I didn't know if she
specifically
really
search
wants
out
you
the
in there.
amateurs. I want to see the couples, verified couples. That's what I want to see.
No risk.
No comment.
This fucking show.
I mean, I appreciate the honesty and the openness. You guys are
Yeah.
champs for.
Hey,
Yeah.
There's too much trafficking. There's too much revenge porn. There's too much bad stuff. I want to
Are
have
we,
good
are we on
content.
XNXX or are we on RedTube or what are we doing here?
I try to stay on the hub. I feel like they have a higher tier of shutting down shitbaggery faster. The XNXX, that's a dark one. That's a dark one now, dog. On there, and I said, "Whoa, Nelly, I need to get off this site."
That's all we got left here in Louisiana. You got to submit your driver's license to I'm not doing that.
You have to submit your driver's license to look at stuff?
Yes. XNXX,
Like-
you don't have to.
Okay.
Pornhub, RedTube, like the really official ones, you have to have a photocopy picture. You have to like take a picture of your ID and register and stuff. And I was like, that's definitely not happening.
Dang.
All right, got that for you guys. Take a guess. 2019, how many views do you think Pornhub got?
From me?
Dude, no. Cash has it. I think Cash has it on top of his head.
5 billion.
5 billion? Okay. Brad, what do you think?
Oh, I don't know if it's 5 billion.
Can't
But
be
it's
that
got
much.
to be 2 to 3.
2 to 3?
I was going to say
All right.
2.5 Billy.
42 fucking billion times.
God damn!
There's 8 billion people.
That's a lot of dick jerking.
That's more than Amazon and Netflix probably put together.
I added
the
a few
average.
of those.
Yeah, the 115 million per day. So 5 mil from Brad, maybe 10 from Cash.
Easy.
I mean, I'm a solid one a day.
I was gonna say, and that means I'm at least clicking 3 to 4 videos. Like,
2
2 to 3 for sure. For sure.
You got to have variety.
And I don't like odd numbers, so if it ends up being a third one, well, we're just gonna have to fucking stop. We're gonna have to find another video and go to number 4 and pray to God that's the one.
Hey, sometimes I'll go to one and I'll be like, oh, I kind of like this one, but like, let me see this actress and see if she has anything better. And like, sometimes that's where the bangers are. And
So I'm going to say this. Cosmo brought up a really fascinating thing when he talked with the shamans. And he brought up the oxytocin release at the higher level and how it's like a bonding agent, right? You brought up how it's the same thing babies when they breastfeed, right? So these things become ritualistic. What you use, the place you're at, scrolling the pages, the type of girl, finding more of her videos or more of a position, it all becomes a ritualistic form of seeking that hit, and it bonds you to it, and it takes your time. And isn't there like a religion that owns most of these sites? We were talking about this stuff was religiously guided. It is the Jewish people.
can we say that?
I just did.
Well,
It's not slandering, it's a fact.
Yeah. What's interesting about that is the Weimar Revolution in Germany before World War II was heavily into like debauchery and LGBTQ stuff, like a lot of exploratory things. And who do you think those establishments were run by? And why do you think the Nazi Party was really adamant about shutting that down?
And I think that's, man, I really hate, because like if you go back and watch all these shows, you'll be like, man, this guy over here is just
He likes the Hitler
Nazi fucking praiser. But like I'm not, but like it was really easy to rally your country behind economic prosperity and stomping out that bullshit.
Yeah.
It really was. And I think that like we're basically, pardon my take here, we're seeing the same thing on the Republican side right now with stomping out waste, fraud, abuse, sexual trafficking, all that stuff, but like, what are they replacing it with? So,
what are they replacing it with? Well, I think it has to be replaced with respect and treating sexuality in a sacred way.
It's not going to.
I know. Probably most of us don't want to do that, but that's what it takes. You look at history; these patterns repeat over and over again, and that's the solution. There's actually a really good quote. Let me find, because it describes the pattern really quick. Okay, so it says, "Hard times enforced discipline. Good times bred indulgence. Indulgence eroded the very qualities that created the good time."
That's like the good times, weak people type cycle, right? Just in another way.
Same thing. Yeah. Yeah, and there was this dude, Dr. J.D. Unwin, who did a study of 86 different societies, past and present, and the same pattern occurred with them. So there's this rise and fall of prosperity and overindulgence and hedonism, and then that relating to a lack of discipline, and then the fall of that society, and then the need for discipline again, and then that rising back up. And so we're just going through this wave of, the ups and downs of sacred and profane. It just goes back and forth.
Yeah.
So the history of sex working has literally accompanied the rise and fall of civilization. Could we say that? Is that a thing we could say?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us, or a lot of, especially religion, want to pin the fall entirely on that. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a part of it. It can be a catalyst, but it's definitely a huge factor, and I think we see that today too, with just like our overall state of consciousness and how we treat sex. Which no judgments or criticisms. It's just that's where we're at.
It's kind of wild. I think it's really wild. to look at it like that.
FBGM.
FBGM.
Fuck bitches, get money.
Yeah.
That's always the goal.
The hip hop world I was raised in.
Oh man, this I don't know, man. Like, because it seems like in every I don't know. Now I'll say every, because there's all the cultures were really different, but the core group of people behind the adult, what do you want to say, the whorehouses, I guess we'll just be blunt. They all seem to be really tied to the building of the nation, the availability for location to spread in their name. There would even be like a lot of times that, like, I don't want to say they would work with the church, but they definitely knew about each other's existence and would oftentimes help each other out back and forth to politically lobby the government in both of their favor. And that really happened, especially like in like the medieval era, like 1600s of Europe. And it kind of looks like that may have been a reason for the freedom of America, and even stuff like that. It just continued to advance and push itself. It's just weird how it just repeats itself over and over again throughout history, where, like you guys are saying, it also associates itself with the decline when it just starts to spread way too far. But what is the real signals for, is it too far now? Are we already in that cycle of it's just full decline, or is it going to get worse from here? I would hate to see how it could get worse, but
it's time and focus though, right? Like, how much of your time and focus does it take away from you? Because when it's something that you're excited about, you see something during the day, you think about it, or you just get that feeling, you focus on it, right? You might save it for later because you're busy or you're at work or you're doing something, but that's not, it's like an itch. You remember it later. So in a way, I think it's pushed on us heavily as a psychological thing. Another thing Patrick brought up, right? That was a really good show y'all did. And Patrick brought up the portrayal on TV. Right? Like, they focus so much on these TV shows and these movies about couples having sex constantly, right? If you're not having sex 5 days a week, you're not in a happy marriage. And like he said too, very aggressive sex. Have I personally had aggressive sex in the past? I've had a couple partners who really were into that kind of stuff, or we had some hot moments. Yes. Not like crazy, but like, yeah, like a little more than like maybe a normal thing. But the moment and the people called for it. It wasn't like a thing where it was programmed in you. And I think a lot of us, and Cosmo brought up on that interview too. We were the first age. Me and you the same age, dude.
Yeah, boy.
AOL dial-up. Dad come home from work and you turn the computer off because you can't kill the pop-ups, right? Like taking 10 minutes for the lines to download to see a nipple, And we are the prototype of how that mentally affected our programming, right? On what's normal, on what you seek, on what you put your time and energy into. Because it's hard for me to fathom that before internet and before availability of this, before hookers are okay, like they should have their jobs, you shouldn't mess with them, which I've always kind of agreed with. But before we got where we are now, I don't think the time and energy was put on the individual level into all of that because it wasn't as attainable. Other things were attainable that you put your time and energy into, and you kind of might have brushed it off, or you turned into the douchebag trying to get the high school girl when you're 20 years old in fucking college or working your job and being a prick, you know? Because there's different types of people out there. I think it breeded both of those pros and cons. But I think it takes our time. I think like when I'm listening to y'all and kind of processing in my head is it's a war game. It's a war game for society. And we think we're good because it feels good. It's, you know, kind of changing my tune a little bit as we have that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I want to pose the question. Do you guys think pornography and this instant access is good for us? Like, is there really good benefits to this? Because I've explored that too. I've like tried to really look at porn in like an ethical way and see, is it okay to really incorporate that into my life? And for me, like personally, I couldn't find a way to make it ethical and to feel really good about it. I always felt guilt, always felt shame, and that feeling too, man, of Cosmic that you're describing as well, is like that itch. That's addiction. I think like once you're out of it, then you realize there is no addiction. Like for me, I'm not addicted to that shit anymore, and it steals none of my time. And now I can put that towards my family, towards my work, towards whatever I want. But everybody's different, right? Like for me, I was addicted to that. So I need that discipline. I need to swing completely the other way. But not everybody's like that, you know? So I don't know. What's your guys' perspectives on like ethical ways of incorporating and really feeling good about it? Or do you guys not feel good about it? Or do you not give a fuck? Like,
I don't give a fuck, to be honest.
I knew that, Cash. We know that, man. What about you, bro?
Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm beating my dick. I really don't care. Like, fuck it. Y'all chose to go fucking slut yourself out on the internet. So guess what? What happens?
We do it.
Is it the choice though? You think? Like a lot of them, it's not a choice. And how do you feel about participating in that if it's not their choice? Doesn't that feel kind of shitty?
I don't know.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Fuck it.
Not my responsibility.
Exactly. Not my job to care.
But as long as you're watching, they're still going to get those girls. They're still going to pay them. As long as there's demand, you know?
I got paid, right?
Most of the time.
Maybe.
Not all of them.
Probably not fairly.
Right, got lost. He's
Green Man messaged me because we accidentally have his shit on there from last week when he was our guest.
He's like, I don't want nothing to do with what y'all talking about today.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with
This is not cool.
Fuck that Tuesday night show, man. That's edgy. I don't want none of that edgy conversation.
Yeah, dude, before this, I was going to ask, is there anything we can't say? But now, obviously not.
No, but I mean, I think these are good talks, though, because they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're edgy.
Good.
Now, you have 4 people that are pretty comfortable being open, but not everybody is going to be comfortable talking about these things and sharing like we share. But I think that's important.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy thinking about, too, like you said, we're the first generation that's been really exposed to this on a massive scale and on demand and increasingly getting more and more intense. I think in the past, it hasn't been a problem because of the consumption of it, right? Like porn used to just be in magazines and pictures, and it's not interactive. Of course, you can still make that connection, but now that it's like so immersive, like you got VR and who knows where it's going to go next, right? Like it's completely taking over our reality. And so it would be really interesting to see like correlate the differences pre and post internet and see what that looks like. And I imagine too that the prostitution industry probably more transitioned into pornography because it's much easier, a lot less overhead. You can make a lot more money with it. So that'd be an interesting thing. Yeah. What's that?
Like the higher end of prostitution, absolutely. Not your trying to get a dime bag of heroin
No,
in.
didn't hit them. You know, like,
I don't think they would have done very well.
mm.
There's a lot of bugs out here tonight. I'm sorry. I'm keep fooling with my noise suppression, but it's every time I talk, you can hear all the bugs behind me.
No, that's cool. Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think it's kind of fascinating because it breaks us down into the consumer side and the creator side. And as someone who I am not a pornographic creator, I thought about it when I was younger. I would have jumped in probably if I had an opportunity because of some certain abilities. But part of me is just like, if that's something that two people want to do, right? If these people want to do that and get compensated and make that a thing because you enjoy doing it, you can make some money off of it. You don't give a fuck if people see it and use it for whatever. I don't really see a problem with that, right? I really don't. But at the same time, as we have this conversation, you can see how beyond their knowing, right, this can get weaponized against an entire generation of people. It can change careers. It can change uh, researching. It can change inventions. It can change progress. I really hadn't thought about it like that, that it could be that potent.
Mm. Well, and it's weird that the model has changed, like with OnlyFans. Now that is attracting people that would never ever think about doing this just because they can make a shit ton of money. And that's like a permanent thing, you know, like once you cross
Right.
that line talking about boundaries, the internet's forever. Like that shit's always gonna be up there. You're never gonna be able to get that down. So I know like even some of my boys, like friends' parents are on that, you know, they're in that. And I just think about those kids like growing up when they find out, they're gonna be like, you know, who knows what that impact is going to be. But
In 10 years, that's going to be a thing in high school, right? Look up the kid you don't like and find their parents' OnlyFans.
yeah, and then shame them, and who knows like what those kids are going to do, like more school shootings, like who knows, man. So I think that's, I don't know, that's a scarier part of this like progression to where now it's really starting to seep into normal everyday people's lives, you know. Which you can argue like the financial aspect of that, that's great. They can take care of themselves and get all this stuff, but at what cost? You know, how are you going to feel about it in 10 years? You know, what are you going
Listen,
to do after 10 years?
back in my day, girls used to be scared to death when their tit pics would get leaked. Now it's $3.99.
Right.
Right.
Or
And
they're
how
fired
fast did
because
that
the free one
change?
went viral because they can charge for the next one.
Right.
Crazy.
And that's how many years? That's like 10 years or less, right?
I graduated in 12, so 13.
13. Yeah, so that's a good question. Like, where does this go? I mean, what's the next stage for this? You know, what do you guys think?
I honestly, from some of the shit I've already seen on like some of these live stream sites, I hope we're peaked. I don't know how much more exposed people can get with themselves.
Just
for
like showing
any
the insides, like their organs.
It gets bad, bro. I don't
I'm
know
sure.
if you've watched
Yeah, I know, I
the
joke.
same stuff you said you're investing more time elsewhere, and I'm proud of you for that.
Oh, dude, when I was 12, 13,
I'm not.
alone with high-speed internet and Kazaa, like you download anything you want, I saw a lot of weird shit. So I'm sure I've seen just as much, or if not more.
Yeah.
I think it gets worse. Not saying necessarily what the people are doing, but I think
The boundaries and the extremities.
yeah,
Yeah.
like the social norm itself, it becomes more of a norm, which makes it a thing that exposes you at a younger age, exposes you to more frequently, controls more of your thoughts and emotions and energy and choices, because it's working.
Right.
It's where it affects people's lives. It's working.
Yep.
Control the narrative. That's all they got. I say it all the time. So if the narrative is it's empowering and you have a right to do it and it's good for everybody to get it out in the open, then that's the narrative that does it. The narrative doesn't come out of consequences that people face because the social norms around them have changed, right? You still have a choice and your choice is yours and you're responsible for it, right? Like I'm not taking away any accountability on any individual. But when the social norm is there, it makes that choice very different to make.
Mm-hmm. Well, and when the when the media glorifies it too. Like there's always these headlines of like, oh, a nurse makes 7 figures on OnlyFans. Like little kids are seeing that and they're like, oh, that's easy money, or teenagers, whatever. It's like a full spectrum. But where does that go? Like I don't know. I don't see like a good end to this. There's either like a really horrible end to it, or there has to be some sort of reset. But it is clear throughout history that the end of the cycle is never simple. It's never easy, and it's always like pretty brutal with how it goes down. Like for instance, the Weimar Revolution ended in World War II, and that just wrecked the whole world for years, right? But then after that, we have the baby boomers that started to rise, and then the free love in the 60s, and so the cycle went up again, and now we're hitting it. I do think we're getting close to being at like a peak or some sort of climax, right? Good word.
I don't think we peak till we have robot girlfriends everywhere and we fuck up the whole family structure.
Dude, that's next.
We ain't peaked till we got the goddamn cum button. I don't want to hear
That's true. Put that fucking computer shit in my head. Give me that instant orgasm, and that's peak society.
But wouldn't that be boring? That would get rid of all the ritualistic aspects.
Nah, fuck that. That'd be awesome.
Got it over.
You can do that shit with your.
You know how much time I could save?
Yeah.
You can do that shit with your breath. No, for real. You can do that with your breath. You do the fire belly breath, you get DMT. It's way more than an orgasm. So if you guys really want that shit, it's easy. Ask Sean Paul, dude, Cosmic and I interviewed.
Not that fire belly orgasmic breathing is his thing, but he could probably teach that.
Yeah.
He's a breath work.
Yeah,
he does a lot of other things with breath.
Yeah. Not just that. Sorry.
Right. That's all we care about, though, right?
Yeah. Man, this combo is good.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of the dark side there, but
didn't think it was going to be all dark side, Yeah. Like Luke Skywalker was going to show up at some point.
I feel like there's some good side to this. I'm not sure where, though. But then again, on the plane of existence, I've tried to figure out and understand why anything's good for anybody, or is it all just fucking feeding our consumer fucking mindset, and we're all just slowly being addicted by something, whether or not it's sex or fucking clothes or food or entertainment, constantly just having the ability to scroll something or watch something, or it's all just taking your time, energy away from what is really truly important in your life. Debatably, like whatever you want to do with your life is fucking whatever. And I think that that's kind of the core of what we're talking about tonight, just in reality. But at some point, I think we've been pretty unanimous. Leave the kids out of this shit.
Right? Yeah. At the end of the day, let's start there.
But if there is no line, if it keeps getting more and more extreme, they're gonna get involved. Like that. It's so taboo, especially if you say you can't do that shit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're already at a point where people are like, oh, she's 18. 18's legal. And it's like, bro, you're 30. That's fucking creepy, right? Oh, 16's legal in Kentucky or Tennessee, whatever state it is. And it's like, no, you're 40 years old, dude. Like that's there's something wrong with that. Like you need to kind of check yourself a little bit mentally there. But it sets those tones.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Man. I ain't gonna lie, I gotta take a piss.
All right.
Yeah. I think we hit the hour. A little break.
All right, we shall return.
Oh man.
Toasting to the highs with every sweet drink. Hot knives and alchemists watch the world blink. Beverages so fine they lift you above. A THC honey's a potion of love. Raise up your cup, let the good times flow. Hot knives got the secret, come on let's go. Come on let's go. Roll it up, light it right, let's ignite this night. DOS filters got the goods, everything feels so right. From carbon to the paper, every puff pure bliss. With the roller in hand, I just can't resist. Ease your mind, elevate your vibe. DOS filter, the choice you make for the crowd.
Every strain on deck, we rolling up tight. Every strain on deck, from the depths of the flower. Come, connect, support other growers. We elevate the game, cannabis family unite. Let's light up a flame. With every puff we rise, watch the smoke fill the sky with the green revolution. Dab side, dab it, roll it, light it, flow for the love of the plant. Let the whole world know, supporting each other. That's how we grow. And the rope on excites that our spirit flow. In this shedding doubts like a knife. With Brendo and Cashman, we elevate our life.
Ooh, we back, y'all. We back here and we getting at it. We ain't scared to talk some uncomfortable topics. But look, I wanna throw this out there just
Let me just finish here.
so y'all know.
See, a pimp's love is very different from that of a square.
Collins.
What
Fine.
is that?
We'll move on. It is a fascinating world, though.
Y'all know about that, but that's where we going. That's that idiocracy right there. Because a pimp's love is much different than that of a square. That was said by Upgrade himself. Spells his name with 2 D's for his double dose of pimpage. Let's go.
I like that, man. That's good.
Idiocracy, bro. It's a prophecy, you know?
Dude, that show, so prophetic. Watch it. It's real, man. Like we're there already. Same with Wally. Got all those
Wally in a different way, but yeah.
Yeah.
But people gonna be getting their law degrees from Costco soon. It's coming.
Got their toilet couches too and stuff. It's probably already a thing. Yes, Stevie.
What is that society driven by, though? An idiocracy, right? Sex and money, and really
Right.
sex above everything. I could weigh so good. That's what the whole thing is about. Nacho. Like, I mean, I really like it. People like it, but not like me. You know. And that's a normal thing for someone to say right now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm just waiting for when we start to water everything with Mountain Dew, like they do in that movie. They're like, the food's not growing.
Good old Brondo. Get that Brondo up in this world. You know what I'm talking about? Good for the crops. Plants crave electrolytes. Yeah.
How you remember all that, man? You just watched that?
Dude, I've seen that movie since it came out. I mean, when I'm saying probably 50 times at least. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. I love it.
Nice.
I love it.
No, it's solid. That's a good movie.
funny.
I need to rewatch it.
And
It's not Mike Judge, right? Is he the director?
I have no idea. I don't get into none of that.
I think
I
he
barely
did. I think he did Silicon Valley, which is another great show. Hey, it's Brad. Where you go, Brad? Why are you late? You hit up that X and XX?
Yeah.
Yeah, that third video.
I was just trying to send the DM, explain what happened. You know, well, if you've tuned in,
Or
expecting
quit being a
Green
little
Man,
fucking bitch about it. I mean, it's
Hey.
really not that big of a fucking deal. I mean, goddamn, it happens. A fucking mistake happened. You got tagged. Quit being a little fucking crybaby about it. If you're still in here, yeah, I'm fucking talking about you, Green Man. Quit being a bitch about it.
And I didn't tag you, but if that's a problem, it's a problem. You know, we can handle that.
I mean, I wasn't going to be as aggressive about it, but like it was
calm.
definitely a technical error that we have clearly seen, and we apologize for the inconvenience. Nevertheless, there's nothing that we can do about it now. We would much rather have the title of our own show.
Which was a good title.
Right, like we worked hard. Well, we didn't really work hard. I
We
ain't gonna
worked
lie.
hard on that.
We worked on it.
Can we put that up?
for a
Can we
few
put the
minutes.
flyer up?
But we'd like to genuinely, you know, get the according people in for the audience, and you know, there's no way that like I'd want to associate anybody who's not attached with our normal Tuesday show lineup on this show. That would just be absurd. And like, if you think that that's like what was trying to happen, maybe your ego's a little bit too fucking big. Okay,
Maybe
that was but that's just being real, like real with love.
You're right.
Like obviously I'd much rather have my own shit up there, and I wouldn't like to fucking be out here looking like a retard.
Yeah, I was
That's just
trying to
facts.
make sure and do that.
Like
It's a really fire fucking flyer, dude.
right.
It was a little more subtle. We didn't have sex industry in there, so I think this was a little more approachable.
Right.
Right.
You guys didn't see this though. I tried a little Shepherd Fairy one. I like this one. It's pretty cool.
Right.
I like that too.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether or not we want to debate the topic and the overall sensitivity of it, it is a real life, issue, and just shit that fucking happens in real life. And I don't think that any of this is necessarily demeaning, just to talk about it, bring it to light, share each other's opinions, be open-minded about it. I don't think that that's really that much of an issue. Again, if it is, I don't know.
But here's the thing: if you
Come
have
talk
a
about it.
problem,
If it is, fuck you for real.
but no, but on a real level, right? If you have a problem with anything being said or problem, there's something with you, because your emotions are a reflection. Your triggers are a reflection of you. So if you're angrily uncomfortable, and I'm not pointing this at the Green Man, I'm pointing this at anybody. It's something to reflect upon in yourself. Why does this make me uncomfortable? Why does this make me mad? Why does this make me want to not be associated? Why does this make me horny? Right? Like literally, whatever it is, it's very important when you feel that type of way about anything. You know, normally it might be me and Brad talking, but about anything, you need to look within yourself and say, okay, well, what can I work on? Right? Because nothing should really, a fully healed, integrated person is not going to be bothered by any of this, because they're going to say, okay, well, this has X to do with my life, or it does not, and I'm gonna move on. Right? It's not a thing. But if it does grab you, then there's something with you that you're not comfortable with about yourself that is going to help you to resolve. Right? It's going to help you to sit in. And we talk about a lot of uncomfortable things on Tuesday nights. Very uncomfortable, edgy topics. And sometimes I'm uncomfortable, and y'all probably see it in my face. But I think it's very important because it helps people change their awareness and understanding and their focus, and it forces you to look within.
Whether or not you want to believe it, people are out there jacking off right now on the highway. And it was important to me to put a safety memo out there that you need to have cruise control in at the speed limit and your seatbelt on while jerking off. Like, do the safe thing while driving now.
Eyes on the road too.
Yeah. Right. Like, don't have the tablet up in the fucking middle of the console and fucking 10
sliding and shit.
Look, I've tried this. Don't do it.
Imagine if you get in the bad wreck and they come find you and you're like passed out and like porn's just playing on your phone right there, and they're just like, bro, seriously.
Yeah, we know what happened here. You're
going in the news.
Yeah.
Oh man. Genuinely though, just final addressment on that. I do feel bad that anybody outside of who was supposed to be on the show was tagged. Normally, we like to tag everybody that's on the show. Again,
On the show, yeah.
fucking technical error. I have a lot to work on in my life. I'm clearly retarded. So is our producing team over here, and that's okay. We have a lot to work on. We accept and acknowledge that. We're going to integrate that into our life, and we're going to try to move forward without being little fucking faggots about it. Obviously, I'm uncomfortable, but like, what am I going to do? What are you
going to do? Like, I don't even generate the post. I go live, and the post gets generated. I don't even make that post,
Right.
I'm just here talking.
That's right.
Just being the talent. I just show up and just be the talent. I didn't come up with that title. Maybe it was me.
I'm scared to check my DMs now, but whatever. It's fine. We'll work it out after I jack off later on. It's fine.
I feel better about it. That's right.
Feel a lot more relaxed.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
But okay, so let me ask this.
How we segue?
We kind of ended talking about a spin that's put on everything, but is there something to the spin? Is there something to body empowerment, sexual empowerment, opening up, being public in certain ways? Is there something empowering about that, right? That has a net gain for the individual or for society? I mean, that's a legit question to ponder on.
Okay, yeah, no, that is a good question. How do we look at like the porn stars? Do we look at them in reverence, like they're powerful beings, like they should be respected? I don't really think so, man. Like, I think everybody looks at stars like that lustfully. We look at it like, oh, I'm gonna go engage with their content or whatever. It's like a library to pick from, as opposed to in ancient times, the prostitutes were even held in like public ceremonies to like bless fertility and really to be part of the society, and they were really revered. And the empowerment came from women owning sex. Now it's more like women are being used for sex and they're empowered. Like, I don't see any empowerment there.
No, they're kind of just exploiting themselves at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it's the prostitutes or the football players. Yeah, because most guys idolize their damn sports athletes that they care so much about. They'd see Tom Brady and get weak in the knees, like if they saw George Clooney in the 90s. Like, that's where we're at right now. Like, they're fucking matter.
I love the way he holds balls. Oh my god,
right?
I love it. Big fan.
Well, look at what's her face, like Lily Phillips, the chick that ran through like 100 guys in a day, and now is going to do like 1,000. Right? Is she empowered? Have you guys seen the only thing I saw of that was like
she was definitely being power bottomed,
but it didn't seem she didn't seem super excited in that post interview.
No,
I
watched that post interview. She was wrecked, dude. Like, she was like, what the fuck?
Well, like that's got to be the same impact of like a fucking train, like 100 fucking
like a real
guys
train
over and over. Wham. That's got to be some pelvic disruption, straight up. I don't know how you overcome that.
You got to fly to Hungary and do that cheap full body checkout after that, right? You can't do it in America. Yeah. I've just went through the healthcare system. My God, it's fucked over here. But well, no, dude. Okay, sidebar. So my pinky toe hit a wall. I'm clumsy. I have no spatial awareness. Whatever. I'm accepting it, and it went sideways. So I snapped it back in place. This was 2 Sundays ago. I go get X-rays on Thursday. This doctor was super dismissive, like wouldn't answer questions. Like, no, I saw the X-rays, you're good. Didn't even look at my foot ever. He's like, how long you want off of work? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And I was like, dude, I want to be healthy when I go back. Like, I have good benefits. I'm cool with using them. He's like, all right, 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks. And he gives me a note. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know. My foot doesn't feel right. My toe feels out of place. I try to go to another doctor. Bruh, I call one of these, and the lady talks to me. She asks me what's going on. I said, I need a second opinion. She gets all of my information, all of my insurance, goes through this 20-minute phone call, and then she's like, okay, well, doctor could see you July 1st is her first available for new customers.
Nice.
And I'm like, bitch, like, I'm either going to not be able to move my toe or be healed by then. Why did we have this? You knew what I was calling about.
I mean, there was always a joke with the VA. If you're going to have the flu, you need to call them 2 weeks in advance so that you can get in there, get a checkup, get your medicine. on time for when you have the flu. If you're gonna, tear your knee, have any backaches, you need to call 6 months in advance, get on the waiting list so that you can go through the physical therapy, necessary. And then you might get a scan or an x-ray, an MRI or something. So like, you really want to push that out and call in advance if you're going to have something. Because like, otherwise you're fucked, and good luck getting any compensation from it. Hope he had to change out his camera.
Oh,
But
good.
that
Yeah,
stuff with the VA is horrible, and I just,
dude, we should do a whole episode on that. I would be into that. But
Yeah.
like our healthcare system is
Make
shit,
sure you get
man.
the tags right.
Yeah. No, let's just tag everybody. Everybody that's been
Tag
on the
Obama.
show will tag.
I spent 13 weeks in my capstone class researching the AFA when it came out, wrote papers on it every week and read the other people's papers and discussed it. So tag Barry Sartano, Barack Obama, and what's the other one? Michael. Type Michael Obama. That way there's a chance one of them show up. Because I got some questions. There's some fucked up things in that document, boy. Tell you what.
What document is this?
The Affordable Health Care Act. It was like 17,000 pages, right? But we had 10 of us or 11 of us, and that was the whole class. The teacher was super excited about it, and he was like, "This is gonna save the world. Oh, y'all are gonna pick whatever y'all want to read it. You're gonna write you're gonna write like 6-page papers. We're gonna read them, and then we'll discuss like 2 or 3 papers in the class. We had an hour and a half class, and by the end of the class, the dude was like almost like crying, because he was so disappointed by the negative impacts that it would have on the overall healthcare system as an infrastructure and on the price impact. It was like you set it set a percentage cap. It didn't set a hard cap. So you just raise everything and you keep making, like, your pie piece was like this and it made your pie piece here. But if your overall becomes this big, you're making a bigger pie piece than you were before. Does that make sense?
I mean, kind of. Trying to track what you're
like inflation, essentially. Yeah, is that kind of what you're talking about? It'll scale depending on the supply and demand, and there's a lot of other variables too, because you have insurance companies taking cuts. You got like
the big thing was the insurance companies could only make X% profit. Let's say it was 6%. Okay, it wasn't 6, but let's say it was 6%. Okay,
but that scales, right?
6%. That's my point. 6% of making this much is, okay, I made 100 million profit. Okay, well, now I inflate all my prices to make 5 billion in sales over 2 billion, and I've still made 6%, but I've made 500 million instead of 100 million. Like, to the point where one girl, her dad owned a company that made medical equipment, and I'll get off of it after this, but he literally made like MRI machines. And it was awesome because he got directly impacted. If he got to a certain percentage, I believe it was 85% complete on a machine, he paid a daily tax to the government on the percentage cost of the sales cost of the machine until it shipped out of his warehouse. Until it shipped, not completed, until it shipped. So if you're at 85% and you needed a part and it was going to take 6 weeks to get that part and then another week to finish the machine and another 5 days to sell it, you pay taxes on that equipment every day, a certain percentage, until it's shipped out.
Why?
What do you think happens to the prices of MRIs?
Yeah.
But
what's the logic behind that? Like, why would it?
Barry Sartano can tell me. Obama can tell me. He's the one that spearheaded the act. Now the government
does it say it
destroyed
in the
it.
act?
Yes, that is it. That was in the original. I don't know if it's
no. I'm just saying, like, why that is in like, what's the reasoning? Was the reasoning in the act itself of explaining why at 85%? You start accruing taxes. It's like unrealized gains with crypto. I mean, you don't have that money. It's not even out. You're not making money off that machine. So it's just double dipping, I guess. Like,
I mean, I didn't write that paper. I wrote a lot on pharmaceuticals and on the overall expenses and profit margins of the insurance companies, and I wrote a lot about how that was affecting the user. Those were the parts, because 17,000-page document. You're going to pick a couple areas that you're interested in and really read a few hundred pages and learn that one area. And then the other 10 people at different areas. So we all got a really broad stroke of the bill. And the whole thing, it sucked. It sucked.
I
And when
hate
I
that
made
too, man.
here, I got denied for it when I lost my job. Yeah.
Ugh. Well, I hate that is the tactic with law and legislation, just to bloat the fuck out of it, so that nobody's going to read 17,000 pages. Most of us don't even read books like at all, right? Like that's where Americans are at right now, and that's another episode for sure. I think we can go hard on this. Yeah.
In 7 minutes, you can set up your OnlyFans and start making money.
That's
And
right.
you're gonna have customers lined up if you're good looking. America. Society, dude. That's where we're going. That's where we are.
Everything is commoditized now. Like literally everything. I can't think of something that isn't, and if it exists, it will become commoditized eventually. Which that's what the government wants, right? Because then you can tax that. Like all this money is still going to the government. So I doubt it's going to go away anytime soon from their side, right?
I mean, look at spirituality. That's something that you could look at my birth chart. 2016 is when I was supposed to start my journey, and it's about when I started my fucking journey, which is crazy, right? But 2020, it became big. And if you start looking at people that's been there for a while, I am all about you provide a service, or you're teaching, or you're guiding, or you got something to share, and you monetize that to make a career off of it, to benefit you for your time, right? And all the work you're doing, I'm in. And the help you're doing for people, I'm willing to pay. But there's a lot of people out there that just take advantage. And they teach a lot of bullshit and charge a whole lot of money for it, because if you charge a lot, it's got to be worth it. And that's a market that you wouldn't think would do that, right? Because you're not supposed to be like that. You know, like give me some fair wages for my time. I'm happy, let me help you.
Well, there's no like example for that. Like we've lost our connection to spirit generally, I would say. So there's a lot of room for snake skin or snake oil salesman, whatever that expression is, right? Like swindlers.
Yeah, grifters. Just whatever you want to slap on there. Just
right. But I think, like, again, coming back to this oscillation between sacred and profane, like I think we'll start to see more of that. I think we'll see more concrete shamans. I think we'll see more people trying to get out of it or try to just have control. Because I think being out of control is more the issue, not about like sexual liberation or empowerment or anything like it's the out of control nature of it and the extreme nature of it that's scary, because that leads to destruction. Absolutely.
Well, that's just that's kind of what we were talking about, I think right before break, right now everything's just so diluted, overexposed. There's no real, and I don't want to just talk shit, because there's probably some OnlyFans models who are the utmost professional. I don't fucking know, but I don't look at them all. Ones that I have peeped, early on, or all that stuff, it's just trashy content and like, pick me material, whatever they can possibly do for attention, selling out for fucking $5-10. Some understand the value of it, but never. It's just they're minimizing everything about who they are as a person, and they're selling out for just fucking garbage, really. Like there's no real inherent value behind it. And I'm not trying to just shit talk these women, but like $1 million ain't shit in this society. Set your bar high, get like a fucking $10 million bag, spend a weekend with a rich person, and call it a life. And just have standards. Like, for fuck's sake, this $5-10 for booty hole pics like is fucking trash. We gotta stop with the feet pics.
Quality.
Right? Like, come on now. Like, set the standard. Be out there, be a businesswoman.
It shit talks the consumer. The consumer holds the most power. The consumer, not just of purchasing goods, the consumer of consuming content, holds all of the power.
Demand.
But you have to work as a collective to utilize that power. You got to have hundreds of people aligning on ideology, on their ideals, on their beliefs, on their desires, and sticking to a plan to shift for the products to catch up to what the consumer wants. Don't do that, so we give away our power.
That's right. Well, that's why a lot of this shit is free too. Like a lot of the porn, it's free because you're the product. Like your
Right.
attention, your viewing, your eventually your money too. Because God knows, like if you need to have more and more intense things or different things, like eventually you're probably gonna end up there.
That's how it
Well, what I
gets.
think is what I think is interesting too, though, is the correlation between this rise of pornography and this intensity of sexuality becoming so explicit, and the correlation between birth rates, because birth rates are just plummeting, right? It's the lowest for the U.S. It's the lowest. 2023, the birth rate is the lowest it's been since 1979, at 1.62 children per woman. That's the stat.
Well,
Um,
I mean, how much of this is based on the economy and the culture shift? Just not just the sex industry, but
Mhm.
you know, post World War II, you know, there was I don't want to say a robust economy, but there was definitely the baby boomers for a reason. Things were good in America. It was the thing to do. Like my grandma had like 12 fucking kids, and like she did not set anything up for any one of those kids to prosper financially afterwards. So each one of them only had like 2 to 3, and they're like, well, shit, I'm about to be fucking broke. And now here I am, like, I can only afford one. So, like, how much of this is just economic collapse and people just looking at it like, I don't know, from a responsible decision, like, I can't afford to have all these kids in this society. Whereas, 40, 50 years ago, you were paying a fucking mortgage of 30,000-40,000 on a house and sending your kids to college for $400. Like,
But
just
how did that happen, Brad?
I don't fucking know how
Two
that
things.
happened.
Two things. One
Nixon.
thing, you have an entire generation coming back from war with no skills other than war skills, right? And those are skills, but they're not trade skills. They're not college skills. They're different. And the second thing is your tax codes. They had the tax code came in right after World War II, where they were taxing the top 1%. I believe it was like 88%. They all agreed to it.
Wow,
The next
really?
president dropped it down like a percentage point or 2 percentage points, and they did this for a long time, and that's how we got funding for the interstate systems. That's how we got funding for all these jobs. This guy did this whole lecture on it,
That's cool.
and it was like a trendy video thing, so I tried to go fact check it, make sure who's a professor, blah, 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 and everything for me checked out.
I mean, they had
And
those government bonds too, like back in the day. Those were
that's
like a
money
big,
for him.
yeah.
He was saying,
That's a
like,
big one.
you came home from war and being a butcher, we don't think of that as like an elite level job, but it was I think he said it was a year waiting list to get interviewed because you were support a family comfortably job just having that, because there was so much money put into rebuilding the society. Yeah, New Deal. I wasn't sure if the Hoover stuff and the New Deal was the right time period. I didn't want to say that, Steve Z, because I did not go connect those dots. I thought them, but I didn't want to be like, oh, he said that one thing wrong. What the fuck he's talking about. But but they had that influx of money, and you had a clean slate of people willing to just soak up whatever they could. We have a different kind of clean slate. We were pushed into college. If you didn't get a college degree, you couldn't do anything in the world. You had to have that degree just to get an interview at just about anything, right? So we got into all this kind of debt. Most of us, like me, did not have a degree to get a good job, nor did we have the assets or the connections to get the good job. We were a clean slate. We were going to take up whatever the fuck we could take up and got pushed into. So I'm a fucking process refinery operator, right? It was the best I could do. And I ran away from that job for 10 years. Didn't want to do it. But we're a clean slate generation in a different kind of way, without a government injection. And, to tie it into tonight, though, but it is true that has had sex put into our minds since we were children. And that does shape things. Brad, what if me and you never watched porn? What if we never put those times into that and the energy into that? Like, what would we have done different in life? I don't know.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, are cameras available? Because I might be making it.
The first Brendo Brad.
Right?
I don't know. Because I don't know the correlation to really look back on it. I can honestly sit here and say 6th grade was a year for me, guys. I was up late one night watching, UFC had just came out, and I was at the old man's house watching the UFC on the satellite, the pay-per-view, and you got that extra like 30, 45 minutes of programming afterwards.
Right, right.
Fellas, let me tell you, that extra 30, 45 minutes of programming on that HBO back in the day,
that
was the shit.
Real
And-
sex, taxi cab confessions.
And there was some blood pressure flowing, and all I can tell you is my life has unequivocally changed ever since. I was very science oriented, very thoughtful on the environment. I still enjoy the environment and understand the importance of it, but my core concerns immediately shifted. Just, whew.
Yeah.
The get money became the secondary to the fuck bitches.
Yep.
Yeah. And I've been married ever since I was 18. So, but joke's on me. Boy, does that go away.
But yeah, my priorities became feel good. Right. And the Spice Channel, the little squiggly lines on channel 52 and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. That was before I did any drugs or drank or smoked or anything. Right. That was my first feel good. And I think there's a correlation to that because I spent my late teens and early 20s chasing a feeling. Yeah. A lot of it was filled with chasing girls and downloading videos and doing all that, right? And doing that with the drugs, right? Or without, whatever. Sure. But it was all about chasing that feeling. And I was a borderline genius. Like I was Mensa tested. I was in the GT programs. I was like a 142 IQ and all of that stuff, right? Like you can be whatever you want in the world. And what the fuck am I now? The only good thing I can say about me, and people might not believe it because of the things I talk about on Tuesday night, but I'm a really good dad and a good husband.
I can attest.
A very happy, comfortable family. Yeah, and my daughter has a phenomenal life with a lot of education and mixed in with fun. But outside of that, as an individual, right? Like take that away from me. I ain't really done shit.
I was in AP and honor classes in middle school and high school. And, the first time I got a hand job, I started getting C's ASAP, boys. Just and outside, not a selfie, got an outsider. I'm telling you, like that was like, okay, now I need to really just stay focused on these women over here. And what was that a mistake? If anybody at all is watching this and they're underage, first off, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, don't watch this shit.
Not for you.
You need to just lock it up. Stay locked in. Stop beating that shit. Don't be chasing that shit. Get your bag first. Secure your fucking bag first. That's my only fuck up in life. Real talk. Should have secured that bag.
So I think as a conclusion, and agree or disagree, please, like everybody. But I think what I've come to a conclusion as, I don't see any wrong or fault with individuals that choose to pursue financial gain from this. I don't. It's their choice. I do see fault in the individual as a consumer that will choose to make it a priority in their life, that will choose to make it a choice that they make over other choices that can benefit them, right? Because, like, look, you can
any addiction,
go get a hooker, you can go get a prostitute you really like, and you can have a great night, and you can pay her some money, and it's a fair exchange, and you had a good time. Or you can watch some videos where people did, or pay for an OnlyFans, and you can have a good time, and you're going to feel good. But what did you gain as the consumer from that? Right? There's nothing you're taking from that other than like a memory. And memories matter.
So make sure you're getting some panties sent to you, a bottle of farts, minimum.
Well, I think it's like a loss on both sides, honestly. Like, yeah, I agree. I'm fine with people making money off this, I suppose, but in the end, nobody's really going to benefit. Like the consumer is going to lose time. Yeah, they're going to get their hit of dopamine, but that's going to go away, and then they're going to be at a deficit. And so for both sides, I think it's creating these very unhealthy dopamine systems. Like the systems are just getting fucked up. And and that affects everything else in life. You know, like you made a good point, Brad. Like I don't think the industry itself is a reflection of the decline in birth rates, but it's a factor.
Yes.
And when you look at everything put together, like this is a big contributing factor to a lot of the suffering that we have, I would say. Because we didn't have a lot of these problems in other times in humanity, like during the golden ages or during times where there was a lot more discipline and respect for our connections just as humans. Like if you think of how we connect as humans now, we're so disconnected. And this whole industry furthers that gap, in my opinion. Because before, you know, digital pornography, all that stuff, even the prostitute route was probably better because you're actually connecting with a real human instead of just a fake image on the screen, right? Like
Right.
you're making progress in terms of human interaction, and you actually get some real physicality from another being than just being by yourself staring at a screen, releasing, and then come down, and that's it, right? So I think the side effects are more detrimental necessarily than like the act itself or the industry itself. It's everything around it. It's like I don't know, like a cancer. You know, I have very strong opinions about this. I know you guys probably don't feel the same, but that's kind of my view of it. Like I don't think it's good.
That's why this is a good conversation.
Totally.
Right.
I'm open to hearing if there are good parts, but so far as I can tell, there aren't good parts. There's like superficial good parts. Like, yeah, you get a bunch of money, but that money's going to go away. And then what? You know, like I think about things holistically, and for that person, like, and there's even like a great documentary on Netflix about when porn ends, you know, like these actresses afterwards, most of them are just wrecked. You know, there was maybe like one or two that made it, that did good stuff. The rest of them were just in the industry. You know, you became a creator and then became a producer, and then you ran like a house or whatever. Like that's kind of the progression.
Right. No, like there's on the realistic side that's there's not too many pros, but and I hate to just shit talk, but like what working industry is there real ethical pros where you can go back and just be like, you know what, I unequivocally did positive and not just self-justifying. And
You know, like a fireman or an EMT.
well, there's still things that I can say on stuff like that. Like no offense to Investigator, our producer, who's a volunteer fireman in the community. They take a lot of the fucking county resources, and while granted, they're doing a good job, you know, but like
First one seen for all accidents plus the fires.
right.
They're
And
EMTs.
I'm not saying that, you know, there's not good things involved in helping, but there's a lot of resources that are going to assisting these people who debatably Darwinism might just be, you know, a real thing. And like maybe you shouldn't fall asleep with a cigarette in your hand. Maybe you shouldn't be driving 80 miles an hour while beating off and fucking flying off the road and not wearing your seatbelt. Like we've talked about this specifically on this show tonight. And Investigator can attest, you know, like people do fly off the road probably because they're just beating their dick. Like, bro, slow down.
Wait till you get home.
Right. Don't utilize the government resources to take care of your dumb ass. Like
Again,
calm
that's the
fuck
consumer.
that's the consumer. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we as people are we're just out here trying to exist and live, right? And thrive, really. Pass that on to our offspring if we have them. But I've also met people who just are totally against that in their life. They don't want to have kids for whatever reason. And I'm not going to sit here and say, no, you need to propagate life. You need to, you know, be invested in the evolution of our society, because quite honestly, I look at some of them and I'm like, you know what, for a retard, you made a smart decision. Maybe you shouldn't repopulate. And props to
If
them.
you don't want it, don't get one.
Right.
I mean, that's right.
But there's still a need
Nice.
for
That's
connection, for physical touch, for intimacy. And if that is your sole route of just like, I'm just going to pay for it, not really worry about being attached, you know, emotionally and all that bullshit garbage attached to it, I'm not going to sit here and shit talk your lifestyle because I don't have my shit together for fucking for shit. But like we've talked about, like there has to be constraints on this. This cannot be your whole life. This cannot be everything that you're invested in. You got to be well-rounded, especially if you're gambling, if you're fucking smoking crack, if you're fucking whatever you're doing. Do it.
Be a well-rounded crack smoker.
You know what I mean? Do that shit in moderation.
Balance, yeah, not too much, just a little bit.
Right.
Jobs, like I downplay the importance of my job all the time. To me, I did it for money and benefits and retirement, right? Those are things that I have that are really strong. I get nothing from doing my job, but at the same time, if no one did the job that I do, you couldn't run a hospital.
Right.
We couldn't do this live stream right now.
Yeah.
You have no electrical usage of anything because you need insulators, you need water, you need rubber. You'd have no vehicles because you need plastic. We go back to horse and buggies or trains at best, at steam at best, but you need oil. You have no wind energy. You have no solar energy. So there is a impact on society from what I do, I guess.
No, dude, your coworkers too, man. Having that IQ of yours, dude, that is such an asset in that environment. When you need to think quick, those situations you've told us where you've almost died,
Right.
I'm sure you've been a huge asset in that whole situation, and so you've saved lives, right?
Like the guy who's our lead guy, he's maybe 30. That dude, bro. Like he might not be able to talk to me, and he's smart outside of work. God, no one watches this at work anyway. So, but like when it comes to where we're at, he's like a genius. When it comes to dissecting and troubleshooting an issue that goes on, you literally feel everything around you slow down watching him try to figure it out. Like you're trying to figure it out too, but he's seeing all the things that you're not seeing. He's thinking about the effects of the heat and the pressure in this line, and well, this is blocked, and I know this goes there, and this is probably affecting that. And he says something, you're like, oh shit, like it'd taken me 2 weeks. It took you, like, it felt like an hour, but it was probably 3 minutes because you were a wizard and slowed down time. It's impressive, man. I'm very good at reacting. I improv life. I do not plan anything, like almost nothing. I improv fucking everything. Half of the songs I posted were freestyles, So I'm great at shit hits the fan and I can instantly react to it and do really well. Mm-hmm. But the people that have just this like deep knowledge that can sit there and just wrap their brain and swim in it, it's impressive, man. It really is to watch that.
Some people on like I used to do just a little bit of what do you want to call it, framing, construction stuff. And like you can see like some of the foremans, you know what I mean, who've been out there for just the longest time, that they have like all those calculations just programmed in their head, and they're just like, no, I gotta smoke a cigarette real quick. But they're just locked in, you know what I mean? They're just over there doing fucking brain programming, computing, and as soon as they come out of there, you better be fucking ready to go because their brain is still going fucking 1,000 miles an hour. That's exactly how it is. Just I hate to say it, but like that Asperger's autism mind, like I see that sometimes in just people are the neurodivergent, Elon. You know what I mean? Like Elon, yeah, just like they kick into that fucking fifth gear and they're just fucking locked in.
But then there's the other ones. There's the other geniuses that are like, that's all happening, but it comes out like poetry. It's just like so smooth, and they have a way with words. Like I work with a guy who's the head of
like
our
Kanye
our
West in 2006.
No, dude, Kanye, great example. But this dude I work with, his prime.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. This dude I work with, he worked at CERN and built the data management system for all of the information that happens there. And it's like, dude, I shouldn't be working with you. Like I should not be even in the same room, but it's cool. It's cool to be able to observe that. And he's actually really awesome, dude. Like he builds all kinds of electronics for his instruments and but yeah, it's I think good for us to be around that. And coming back to our topic, I don't think we're going to have many minds like that if we're all hooked on porn, if we're all addicted to the sex industry and it keeps continuing the way it's going. Like we're all going to start going downhill,
That's a good take. I don't want to be overly argumentative, but maybe I
Oh,
need
go
to
for it.
get deep in the semen retention here. But as a married man, maybe I should be more connected, locked in. But hey, I've been married for a long time, fellas. My wife, she ain't always just about it. And if I got to be locked in to my marriage, make sure my mind's not drifting, keep my mind off of any attention grabbing, bullshit out there. It does serve a purpose that way. And now, granted, that may not be like, I don't know, the best fucking way to go about it, right? But there's a healthy understanding and relationship with my body that I try to keep in balance. Like, obviously, I don't want to just, sit down, waste 3 hours fucking scrolling the fucking porn hub trying to figure out which. No, that's when you got to take a break. When you're on,
Time
when
out,
you're on
boy.
the second or third, of the night, just chill, pack it up. You know what I mean? Like, go do something else with your life, please. But 2, 3, 4 times a week, hey, if you just got to stay locked in, keep your mind right, I'm with it. But if you're out there spending money on it, get your fucking bag first. Secure that bag. Get your money right. Do not start popping bottles and paying for hookers unless you fucking got it. Like, that's
dude, it's a good point. That bag, that should be the motivation, right? So in this context, thinking about porn or that bag, which one are you going to choose? One has to win, right? So like for me in my addiction and working through that, something had to be greater than that feeling or that desire to want to just like, ejaculate all the time, watch all kinds of stuff. And for me, that was spirit, and that can be different for everybody. Like, I think children, marriage, anything that pushes you beyond yourself. I think that's maybe the key element. You need something that will push you beyond yourself to feel like your actions and what you're doing need to be more for somebody else. Because if we're just doing this to ourselves, we don't care. Like, who gives a fuck? This is my body. I'll just go at it, and it doesn't affect anybody. But as soon as it affects other people, as soon as it's part of like your family or then I think that's when the motivation starts to come in, and that's when things can change. And I think that's a hard part for our society. I think a lot of us are very isolated. We're all disconnected from each other, and this gives us so much pleasure. It's instant. It's always accessible. So there needs to be an alternative, and I don't think we really have one right now. I think the media and everything about our society makes sure that we don't. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, you kind of nailed it. It's I think it's become just way too much of a distraction for a lot of people, and the way that the porn industry has evolved, I think we're starting to also see a lot of unrealistic expectations take place in the environment of what it is supposed to be, how it's supposed to feel, how you're supposed to react, how you're supposed to treat the other person involved. There's definitely an unrealistic expectation. Please understand that the people behind these movies are content creators. They are actors, actresses, and if you're not out there doing the same stretches, limbering up, man, like, you're gonna pull a hammy, dude.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we've all felt the impact of that too. Like, comparing yourself, that shit sucks, dude.
Yes, I have felt the impact of pulling my hammy and
Cramping up.
I can't do that one. I can't do that one. And she all mad, and I'm like, my fucking back don't do.
Is it your back? Yes, it's my back.
It's fucking rough out there in the streets. Y'all ever had a toe cramp mid-sex? Like right in the foot?
Yeah.
Calf cramp? Oh
yeah. My calves get
full lockup.
So full lockup, full body lockup. Get that?
For me, it's that toe sometimes. Like, when that toe causes like that whole leg lock, and you're just like trying to unbend your toe.
Austin Powers, where he's like all twitching.
You're just like, hang on. And she's like, this is the best part. And I'm like,
All right, I'm
You
gonna
go,
power
Sean.
through it. I'll power through it. I'm gonna lose a leg. I'm gonna lose a toe. I don't care. That's some real
It's
stuff,
real,
man. I like it.
It's real. Lower back and the calf, man. That's my Achilles.
Man,
Ooh.
ain't gonna lie, I was hoping Cashman had a story about how he cramped his legs up or had a toe cramp as well.
Cash was probably feeling too good for any of those things to hit his brain when they happen.
Got that Coke running. You don't feel no cramps with that Coke.
You don't feel no cramps when you on Coke, bro.
Coke cramp to you.
Powering through.
And if you do, you don't remember it because you don't remember half the shit on that either.
The only thing I remember about any time I've been on Coke is when I'm playing video games and I'm full locked in, and then I'm coming down and I'm on the floor looking for any specks that are fucking remaining. Just like, phew. Those are the bad times, fellas.
Oh, yeah, if you don't have weed to come down, you don't need to even start Coke.
Bro, that's real. Like, I used to like program that shit, have it locked in. So like I'm smoking, I would even take a little bit of NyQuil, like just go sleep. Go sleep.
Easy route.
This is how bad I used to be in the addiction, boys. I used to
Oh,
fucking
here
do
we go.
pinky-sized gaggers and fucking lay down and go night-night.
That's when you know. It ain't even
Dog,
hitting
I
no more.
used to be a fucking mirror-sniffing fucking retard. I mean, I'm still a retard, but I just don't mirror sniff anymore.
Proud of you, Cash.
Smart.
Come a long way.
I mean,
Yeah.
I said, I don't know what, 2
Used to
episodes.
do
3
lines
episodes
and
ago.
go to bed, Bubby.
The Coke got very expensive for me, and I will never buy cocaine ever again. It's like we've talked about the drugs that are laced in there, the expensiveness of it. It ain't great.
You know,
But-
it actually, for me, it started off really expensive and not that great. And then the deeper in the trenches I got, it got cheaper and cheaper, but it got better and better. Like, I just kept finding the super plug as, you know, I kept getting worse and worse in the trenches. It was just, it was not good. When you're getting $100 8-ball, dog, and it fucking is right off the kilo, like, it's
See,
it's
I was
dangerous.
told, you know, you got like 4 to 6 hours on Coke. You got like 12 hours over here on X. And that's where I was like, let me get those. And I started banging those down and snorting them. And I don't know how I'm still alive. So,
I mean, I was snorting Adderall, Coke, Valium.
those addies will get you.
Do you like
Roxy's.
mixing it though? Are you mix it?
Oh
or
yeah,
you
bro.
like yeah?
Like fucking do some cocaine, and then you're like, man, you know, let me do this Addy or something. You know, fucking bust down a little 10 milligram Addy. Because I mean, that's just legal meth. I mean, it literally says amphetamine salts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go.
And I mean, I had prescription for 2 different type, the 5 milligram and the 10, and they were both crushable. So I was getting like 90 of them a month. Plus I was doing Coke. Plus I had a plug for fucking Valium. So if I wanted to come down, I could just snort a couple Valium and then I'd be fucking chilling, dog. I don't know how I ain't had a heart attack. Let's just put it that way.
For real.
Like,
Man.
I did some fucking drugs there for a minute, y'all. Like,
You a chemist, boy. Doing some chemistry. Mix a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
listen, we was snorting this, we was
knew
snorting
those
that.
Like, you knew the chemistry of a lot of my friends did. We knew, like, you knew what the fuck you were doing when you mix those things.
Oh,
You know, we
yeah.
did like a little white song that night, but it was in a specific amount, specific order to go to a specific place.
Yeah, you know, you do your blow, get real fucked up, and then you have a couple beers, kind of mellow you out because you're in public or whatever. You know, take that edge off. You're like, damn man, everybody knows I'm speeding.
Go
You
to a
know,
house
and then
party, open up a drawer, find
Yeah.
some pills in there, go on pillidentifier.com, type in the description.
drug.com, dog. Hey, they ask you for the markings. It'll tell you exactly what the fuck it is, dog. Oh, yeah. Let me go ahead and pocket them motherfuckers real quick. Time to lead a party. See you later.
Can't tell you how many times that happened.
Man, I'm not incriminating myself. I don't know how long the statute of limitations are on certain things.
Hey, I've been
This is all
trying
alleged,
to
right?
keep this off my personal stuff, like real personal, for the longest time. But tonight, I finally said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna attach my personal YouTube to this." Boy, was that a mistake. The
Yeah,
people that did
that
this
ticker
too, they're
at the
like,
bottom is correct. We don't condone the use of drugs. We're just,
Just saying.
reliving our past
saying.
problems. Just saying,
yeah.
like,
I can't put this on the Facebook, like I don't think I'm brave enough to do that.
No.
They knew me.
"Oh man,
fuck, everybody knows I'm fucking shit.
Shit.
don't do drugs, kid. Drugs are bad." Okay.
It's bad. I told y'all when the cops showed up, when I got banned from the bar and I yelled at the neighbor. No? That was like one of my last nights of doing stuff. We went to a bar we could walk to. And I was like, give me 2 shots. The bar was closed and get my tab up. I was like, I'll leave y'all your tip and we'll leave. And the guy was like, no, he was the bouncer. And he was like a little fucking nerd. He lived on the hood street I lived on. He lived in the front.
Fucking nerd.
And he was like, no, man, y'all got to go. And I was like, bro, we got 15 minutes. Just give me my shots, get my minimum up, and I'll leave you a tip and we'll be out of here. And he's like, no, y'all got to go now. So I lit a cigarette. He's like, no smoking in here. So I put it on the ground and stepped on, lit another cigarette. He's like, you're banned for life. I'm calling blah, 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 the owner. And apparently I went back and did some coke. And I didn't do coke often, but I did it a few times. I remember waiting for him to come home, going knock on his door repetitively, telling him to come outside and explain himself. A little aggressive. I remember that. Went back home and probably about 4 a.m. The sirens were outside and I had the thump thump, the boom 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 at the door, like Mystical would say. And there's 2 cops and I went out there in my boxers and they was like, is your name Sean blah blah blah? And I was like, yeah, that's me. He's like, did you threaten to murder your neighbor tonight? No, I did tell him I'd beat his fucking ass, but I did not threaten to murder him. I said it just like that. That cop looked at me. He was like, go to bed and leave him alone. I said, yes, sir. He said, all right, you go back to bed. He let me go to bed, dude, and he left. That was the last I heard of it. But I did call that dude a pussy for like 6 months. And I'm sorry.
He probably met the neighbor. He's like, I get it, man. I get it.
I'd
I was
kill him.
banned from the bar, though. I went back 3 times, got kicked out every time.
Persistent. I like it.
Yeah, well, I had to test it. The owner was a lady that definitely could have beat the shit out of me, and I was kind of curious to see if she was going to. And yeah, she would have. She was a bodybuilder. Yeah. So I, after the 3rd time, I was like, I'm good on here.
Yeah, you got a different bar.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Okay.
Hell of a drug, eh?
And that is the history of the thirst trap of the sex industry.
I've been on cocaine for like 20 minutes.
Right.
And don't be a bitch.
I've heard
That's
a lot.
just, the moral of the story.
Yeah,
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
Be okay with mistakes. It happens. We're all gonna be okay, right?
Steve, see, 6 months later, I still was probably calling that guy pussy until he moved out. I called him something. I was a douchebag. I was a narcissistic asshole. You knew me. You knew me then. I was kind of a dick.
Had your priorities in mind, huh?
I had a big ego, man. And
It's kind of hard to picture, dude, honestly, like where you're at now. I mean, I know you talk about it a lot, but
yeah,
other spectrum, dude.
I think it's why I struggle when people give me any kind of compliment nowadays, because I don't want to awaken that back up. Like I know it's integrated, and like I've killed my ego multiple times. But I know who was there. I know how much I hurt people. I know where my priorities were. And I feel like it's like if you quit cigarettes for 6 months, which I did, and then you smoke one and it's okay, but then you smoke another that week and it's okay, but then by that 3rd week you're smoking a pack a day again. I feel like it's kind of one of those things. You let it breathe a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then you gotta kill it again. And killing your ego is it's rough. Like to really be led by it and kill it is rough.
I don't think it really dies. I think it's like a management. Like you said, you need to integrate it, but it'll always pop up. There's always triggers. But I don't think that's good, man. Like I think you need to be able to take a compliment in a healthy way and allow that to be self-love, allow that to fill cup. But I understand the aspect where it's like that ego is going to want to pop up and grab that, and then it's going to try and inflate itself and then be dominant in your psychology.
I'm working on it. Ego brought us all here tonight. You don't get in front of a camera without an ego. Ego puts you in any place in public. Ego puts you taking any risk. It's valuable. And a strong ego matters, but like you said, you got to integrate it. You know, it's a path. Yeah, I was a piece of shit. I was very narcissistic. I was the only guy that won arguments with the girlfriend. I was going to win every one of them because she wasn't none of them smart enough to beat me. My wife probably, if I'd have known her then, we wouldn't have dated, but she probably would have beat me. She's pretty fucking smart.
Put you in your place.
Yeah, I needed that.
Yeah,
but now you princess dad, right?
Oh, bro. I mean, I got to redo my nails. We did laser tag today and like this arcade place with Grammy and Papa and played board games and out to eat. It was a really good day.
Good stuff. Makes it all worth it, right? Like all that journey.
Love it. And I would not be the dad I am. I would probably be a much shittier dad without all of the things I talked about tonight, plus the 1,000% that I didn't touch on. Would not be the dad I am, or the husband.
Hell yeah. Well, think about being dad, like all this experience too, just to be able to allow our children not to necessarily have to go through that. It's always going to be their choice, but we can have that wisdom and those stories have meaning now instead of them just dying with us. Like they can have value and go beyond us and affect, eventually the collective, because our children will go out, they'll do their own thing and so on and so forth. So
Cosmo over there sounding like an elder.
It matters, man. Older I get, the more I think about what's going to be left behind. You guys think about that? Yeah,
absolutely.
I've done all the shit I want to do pretty much. Now it's like service and next generation.
For me, my main priority, not to sound overly selfish, I have my child, which is the next generation that I can, right in my wheelhouse, I can control. Not to sound like I'm trying to control her life, but I can control the input and output of what goes after. But after that, like it is what we pass down to the next generation of children of the mistakes that we've made in the past and how they can grow from understanding the things that we talk about. And if that's what this podcast is for kids, hopefully, again, if you're a kid, get the fuck out of here. But also like 18, 25, 30, and you're going through the same shit that we are 20, 30 years from now, and this is still up on YouTube. This is for you. Like we've been here, we've done it, we've fucked up, we've made these mistakes, but now we're trying to grow, trying to advance, trying to move on from it, and maybe quit being fucking 2% less retarded each day. Like that would be the goal. But like right now I'm only about like 0.3% each day, a little less retarded, but I keep making these dumbass mistakes every day. But we just got to keep going.
Simple to fix, Brad. I know we're closing out, but I'm gonna give you a tool, right? Because I did a mental health space for 18 months every week and focused on toolboxes. You repeat over 90% of your thoughts every day. I think it's like 93 or 94%. It might be higher.
Yeah. Dispenza.
Yeah, Dispenza. But real research. Like Dispenza does heavy fucking research and he publishes his studies. You can go look at them. Focus on generating some new thought every day. Focus on your thoughts being new throughout the day. That's the next step. And I went through it and I'm going to tell you right now, it changes a lot. A lot. Like changes you. If you want the ending revealed. That's the season finale. You're a new person. Go watch Wheel of Time because it's fucking awesome. That's what that is.
So what was like the new thought for you? What did you start with, just out of curiosity?
Literally just started with like, I smoke a cigarette in the morning with my coffee and be like, what did I not think about yesterday? Like what is something I didn't put my mind on? Okay. And I didn't think about, there was this essay I read back in college on lit theory that I really liked. What was that guy? Baudrillard. Yeah. What did he talk about? He talked about ideology. Oh shit. Simulation, simulacra. That's what he talked about. man, I'm gonna go fucking touch up on that today if I get time. And I didn't get time, but the next day I did. And I touched up
Nice.
on it. And that next day I was like,
Yeah.
man, what haven't I thought about? Bro, I fucking suck at geometry. Let me go look at like a shape, a dodecagon. I'll never forget a dodecagon now. 12 fucking sides, motherfucker. That was like day 2. Like literally started like that. And it leads into
Sick.
new choices, new desires. It helps you reprogram your subconscious. It really does. It builds a new you. Musculature, cellular wise, you're new every 7 years. And
Well, I mean, are the thoughts, everything that we have, the every idea is consciousness, and energy that we're creating, and it's just like I don't want to just stick on like that manifesting, but like that's kind of what you're going off of, I believe, right? Just you can't manifest new ideas, new creations without putting in those new thought processes.
Two things. One, no. One, like if I had a business, it would teach people how to reprogram their ideology, their relations to what is real, their subconscious programming. And the second part is it's a little different because you're not generating new thoughts and generating new energy. If you're using consciousness, you're tuning in to new energy for you and new thoughts for you. And it's only because you're making new choices. Everything goes down to choices. There's a reason when my baby girl was 3 years old, a young 3, you could say, hey, you have and she would say choice. There's a reason that is the number one programming I put into my child's brain because we get to control a lot of that programming. She knows she has a choice. And now at 5, when she's mad because so-and-so at school said something that made her upset or didn't want to play her game or whatever. And I go, well, you have a what? I have a choice. What choice can you make today? I can be happy or I can be mad. What kind of day do you want to have? I want to have a happy day. How can we do that? Right? And we talk through it. But it starts with that recognizing that I am in control of every fucking choice in my life. And I can choose to be angry for a little while. Are you really upset about it? Yeah, I'm really sad. Well, let's choose to be sad for a little bit. What do you want to do for that? You want to talk about it? Do you want daddy to hold you? You want to just sit alone in your car seat because we're usually driving home from school or whatever it is, right? Like we can choose that. That's okay. But know that we're choosing it. When I meet Brad, when he comes for a crawfish boil and we realize we're not as good friends as we think we are and he pisses me off, I'm going to realize that I'm making a choice to punch him and him beat the shit out of me, right? But I'm going to realize that it's an active choice. I say that to be funny, decision. But you get where I'm going.
Yeah. Well, before we hop into this quote, an important thing about that subtlety of you don't necessarily create your thoughts, you're tuning into them. I think that is meaningful when you're in these really low states of like suicide, right?
Yeah.
Those aren't coming from you. You're tuned into that because of your vibration, because of think of your brain or your pineal as like a radio tower, right? Whatever your intention is, wherever your heart is at, that's what you're tuning into. So that's what you're attracting. And so change the body, change your thoughts, change your emotions. That changes everything, right? And that's what Cosmic is talking about.
I don't even like the word attracting anymore because fuck all the new age bullshit propaganda words because people misinterpret them. I like to think of it like that's the pond I'm swimming in. It's the water I'm surrounded with. I'm choosing where I'm going to swim. And I have jumped into fucking bayous with alligators and alligator gars and nasty shit that I would never swim in nowadays. But at 16, 17, 18, 19, I made a choice to go swim in those waters all the time. Didn't give a fuck. But I choose different waters now. Right?
Yeah. It's a choice, again.
That's smart. I also do not get in dangerous water. If it's murky, I can't see my feet. I don't go in that shit.
I used to.
There's no dangerous water where you at. What kind of dangerous water you got?
So
you got catfish
I
you gotta worry
Great
about?
Lakes, and like there could be aliens in the fucking water.
Oh, that's true.
Well,
we haven't talked about
I used to live in Florida, so like there was like the jellyfish. Those sucked for real.
Yeah, gone stung by a jelly.
There was many times I would just be walking on the beach in Florida and like little fucking crabs, dude. Those little fuck that shit. I ain't about that life. So I've learned my lesson. I just don't deal with it anymore. I don't want to put my foot in a hole and have like a pike fucking come out and grab me here. I doubt that's gonna happen. But I'm really more concerned about like aliens and fucking shit like that. I'm just I'm gonna be good over there on the beach drinking a beer. I'll do you in that water with Jaws and fucking. I've seen that alligator movie where they were growing that shit. You know, that lady was just feeding the alligators in that movie, like
Lake Placid.
Lake Placid. I've seen that.
Betsy Ross, Betty
yeah.
Rose.
I ain't about that life. So
Her name?
yeah, they walk on frozen lakes here. Like I ain't about that life either. Like,
but you're in the water of consciousness 24 hours of existence a day. You get to choose what that water is. Like maybe we can do that episode. Maybe we can do my all-time favorite shit and then talk about our weird experiences, supernatural experiences we've had. That could be a fun one. That's a little edgy.
It'll be great as long as we get that title right.
Yeah, I'm tagging Green Man again. Fuck that dude.
Tag him every time.
I'm gonna tag him on purpose this time.
If you came from Green Man, we're retarded. No, genuinely, like I don't know. We changed the title beforehand, updated on YouTube just fine. On X, it just said, "Hey, fuck off." So
sorry.
We'll double check, I guess, next time. Maybe not. Fucking, we'll try to learn. That's best I got.
Yeah, see my face. That's that's all I'm gonna say with that. With the things I say, but, whatever. All right, sex history, the thirst trap. We talked about the economic impacts and the way it affects the power structure of society. I didn't think we'd really accomplish that, but we kind of did. Easier than I thought I would have. I thought we'd have more friction this show.
I wanted to say before we get out of here, Epstein did some horrible things, right? We all know this. Hitler did horrible things, but like Epstein, shout out to all the money that he put into the scientific community. Now, granted, some of the research that they pick and choose was not great. Maybe like some of the remote viewing or some of the telepathy stuff or, some of the research behind the heart facility. We didn't need you funding that. But I do appreciate, some of the other things that they've done with like Stephen Hawking when he was still alive, when he was going to Epstein Island. These rings, they are very important and they have been very prominent in the advancement of our society for the good and the bad.
Comes from everywhere.
Cum is definitely going everywhere. I know that's not what you said.
Comes from everywhere.
It's fitting. Fitting for this episode.
We need to get out of here. We're over time. We're
We're way off the deep end here.
Good shit. Oh my gosh, yeah, we're like way over time.
Yeah. Some of y'all have lives. I'm on med leave, so I don't, but it's okay.
Yeah. It was snowing outside today, so whatever.
It was 89 degrees here today.
Whew. Man, we might get like 6 inches of snow on Sunday and shit. So,
this is our
T's
spring.
and P's to me.
No thanks.
88 degrees.
70s, bro.
All right, love y'all. Thank y'all. If you stuck with us, you're a powerful.
Good night.
Word.
Mad respect.
Peace.
Yeah, we came up from the bottom, now we top tier. Brendo and Cashman, everyone give a cheer. Higher values in the game, we're the pioneers. Speaking loud, raising high, forget all the fear. Yeah, this is the moment, we let the world know. Values that matter, let the truth flow. Brendo and Cashman, we rise and we thrive. With higher values, we keep the vibe alive. To the truth, let the wisdom arrive. In the heart of the South, watch our dreams collide. Every episode hitting like we just dropped heat. From the streets to the booth, hear the rhythm and beat. Discussions ignite, in the zone we compete. Connecting with the fan, feel that community heat. We keep it real, never play pretend. This journey of ours will never end. Brando and Cashman, we rise and we thrive. With higher of values, we keep the vibe alive. Tune into the truth, let the wisdom arrive. In the heart of the South, watch our dreams collide. Every episode hitting like we just dropped heat. From the streets to the booth, hear the rhythm and beat. Discussions ignite, in the soul we compete. Connecting with the fan, feel that community heat. We keep it real, never play pretend. This journey of ours will never end. From the mic to the world, we uplift and inspire. Thanks for riding with us, let's take it higher.
Okay, so strap in, strap on. We're getting ready to go past moon, straight to Uranus.